So let's look into living the spiritual human life. And I want to kind of connect some dots and do some clarification on a few things and then expand on it, okay? So let's just start with the basic metaphysical. We talk about it in our greeting, it's on our flyer or program, whatever, it's in our social media, the whole thing. I mean, but do you ever think about what it actually means? So the definition of it is the branch of philosophy that explains the fundamental nature of reality, existence, and the universe. It transcends physical matter. It uses the laws of nature and the universe for us to expand and beyond the human existence. Okay, yay. Now, I want to tell you a little story real quick before I get into the rest of mine. And it's about two babies, and they're in the womb. And one baby looks at the other one and they're like, hey, do you believe in life after delivery? And the other one's like, well, I don't know, I'm not sure, I think so. I think there just seems like there would be something more than this. Maybe this is some preparation for something we're going to do later. And the other one's like, I don't know about that, I'm just not sure, you know. And they're like, well, you know, it could be that maybe we could do something different with our legs or our hands, or maybe even eat with our mouths. Well, then that caused the other one to kind of laugh a little bit. They're like, no. This umbilical cord, everything I need is scientifically proven to come through this umbilical cord to give me what I need. And it's so short. So that, to me, logically excludes anything else beyond that. And that second baby said, you know, maybe it's just different. Maybe we won't need the cord. Maybe there'll be something else. Maybe there'll be things that we've never even imagined or dreamed of. And the one's like laughing and saying, well, how come nobody's ever come back and told us about this? What you other women are world doing. So the other one says, well, I don't know, but you know what, there's something about, he goes, maybe it's about me and Mother. And no matter what, Mother's going to be there to take care of us. I just have this sense. And they're like, really? You believe in Mother? Are you kidding me? Where? I don't, where? And the other one's like, you know, we are surrounded by Mother. We are of Mother. We would not exist if Mother didn't sustain us. And the other one's like, I don't see any Mother. He's like, well, no, but when you sit in the quiet silence, you just kind of feel the presence. And sometimes you can hear Mother's voice, lovingly, softly, from above. Let that sink in. Think about that.
Yeah.
Because it is bigger than us. It is way bigger than us. It doesn't make any difference, whatever you're comfortable, whether it's God, Allah, Jehovah, divinity, divine, source, love, light, energy, it is all the same. And it is flowing in us, through us, and around us all the time. It's there. Ernest Holmes argues that the human being has access to the power of the universal mind. And we do this by directing our thoughts, in particular to the beliefs in the present and the future. So a couple weeks ago, Polly was doing a talk and she mentioned something about how a lot of my talks lately have been like leaning towards self-actualization. And I'm thinking, you know, I hadn't really thought about that, but she's right. And it just comes to me this way, that it is about us loving each other and knowing who we are and knowing what we're supposed to become. And it really does come to me in the weirdest ways. And I feel like my job is to put it together in a presentable way and add some fun little stories. You know, it comes. Well, then she admitted that she does kind of joy. She's been leaning towards joy lately, about the tiny habits and the happiness and the gratitude that brings about the joy. And then lately, Laurel seems to have been doing things that are about the reality of what we face and have to accept and deal with and let go of, whether it's pulling out of SUVville with no visibility, or whether it's all the way down to, and if you were here for, that would make sense, sorry, for her talk, or all the way down to a medical diagnosis. And then Annette's been talking about the seeing and how we believe and what's really going on. Kay delivers some amazing Reiki healing. And I think the beauty of this is that each one of these all connect together. As a collective, we're giving you ideas on how to deal with the human experience and more towards our purpose. So, this is my face, my body. Y'all know I love to wear dresses. I'm a smiler, I like to smile. I'm a mom, got some degrees, lived some life, never turned down a hug. So this is identified and defined as Lena. This physical incarnation, how you know me from the rest, is Lena. This is how it's defined. But is it really who I am? I drove here in a vehicle that has a color, a make, a model, and a certain engine, and I love it. And as much as I love it, it's still a vehicle. As much as I love myself, this is still my vehicle. Are you ready? You know what's coming, right? I just need to let you all know that you don't have a soul. You do not have a soul. You know why you don't have a soul? Because you are a soul. You are, I know I had you on the interest, you know. You are a soul. You are a soul. You don't have to earn it, you don't have to find it, you don't have to work for it, you don't have to find it, get it, obtain it, whatever, you don't have to build it. You are. That is who you are. Yes.
What you are.
Exactly. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. My question is to ponder, where is your focus going in this? Because your spirit and your soul is so much bigger than existence. And it cannot fit into this human body. I don't care how Gary and I pack it, you cannot fit your soul into this body, okay? Because you're etherical, you're galactic. Do you get that? How big that is? You're cosmic, you're everything. And because your spiritual being is so high vibrational, it is beyond our mind-blowing human comprehension. Now these human bodies are awesome, but they're a denser energy. That could be right or wrong, but this is the thing. It's about us learning how to funnel, flow, and as Abraham Hicks says, turn the faucet on, and allowing that spiritualness to flow more through and in our physical being. So whether it's accepting life, joy, actualization, it's going to bring us closer. By using these tools, you will actually be expanding your spiritual presence in this human experience. Now, it's not meant to separate or divide. It's just to help you to keep from embedding in the dense humanness. Okay? It's like the floor. The floor actually has a vibration. It can be measured. And believe it or not, if you really wanted to, you could feel it. But really, we don't even have the need for that. We got too many other things to vibrate about, right? And the thing of it is that doesn't mean we don't need the floor to walk on, to ground us, for gravity to hold us onto. I don't know, you know, it's necessary. But not to be rooted like a tree, but to be free spiritually. That's what we want to try to find. Because what that allows you to do, when you funnel more of your spiritual being into this human experience, you're going to really realize what's the most important thing. And the enjoying human life in that great balance. So Andy Zuckner sent me a thing the other day, and it was about the legless guy. And I was like, I gotta find a way to share this because this is phenomenal. So this is the gist of his story. In 2013, as a young man, he had a solo accident where he hit a tree and everything in his vehicle basically mashed him. And he was in the hospital in a coma for like 18 days. There wasn't a thing in his body that wasn't broken or not working right, from brain bleeds to his kidneys now malfunctioning, hip broken. Part of the way through, they had to amputate his right leg, and then they ended up doing his left leg. So he finally wakes up after 18 days. They tell him the news, and he goes, that's going to suck for a while. I'm like, whoa, what a great attitude. And then he said to himself, he says, you know, I have my four-wheeler, I have my kayak, I have my tractor and my truck. I can still move through life. I can still make money, and I can still enjoy the outdoors. I'm going to be okay. Now, the girlfriend that was with him stayed with him through this as he went to Oklahoma and to the special facility that taught him how to live without legs. And then he stayed or went back and got prosthesis and learned how to use those. He ended up finishing his apprenticeship and becoming a pipe fitter. And he now is the wage earner because he married the girl, had 4 kids. She's a stay-at-home mom. And he says, and there's a little bit more, but I mean, the gist of it, you get the gist. And he even says, I'm living the greatest life ever. I'm living the dream life. Tell me this man's not funneling some of his spirit into this. You know it. To have that kind of attitude and to have that kind of gumption and to get through something like that. And I'm out Sunday or the other morning upset because bugs are eating my zucchinis. I'm like, this is it. This is an example, an extreme example, a big example. This is it. And it's never all about being human or all about being spiritual. We want to find that blessed balance. Because I want you to wallow in being human. This is what we're here for. You wanted to be here. I know sometimes we question that. But you wanted to be here. You wanted to be in this form to experience like you've never experienced before. So as long as you're not hurting and harming anybody, get out there and live life. And live it to the fullest to make yourself happy and find your peace. Unfortunately, so many people are so heavily into the dense humanness. And not cultivating, not taking the time and the energy to cultivate that connection within ourselves so that when we do hit those tough spots, that we have it to draw from. Whether it's good or not, you know, that's what it is, because that is where that relationship that you have with the thing that's bigger than you, that's where you find your peace. That's where you have your relief. That's where you have your freedom. And that's where you learn not to sweat the small stuff. And the deeper you get into that relationship, you're going to realize everything is the small stuff. Everything. Whether it's legs or zucchini. Oddly enough, it's all small stuff. So Sundragon actually posted a meme the other day that I thought hit the spot, and it says, the greatest challenge of being alive is to witness the injustice of the world and not allow it to consume your light. So stop investing in anything that corrupts or bankrupts your peace, your love, your joy, your soul. That keeps you from living that balance between human and spirit. So Annette was talking to her last week about anxiety. She had the spot. There's so many people just eaten up with this. And the crazy thing is I want to take it deeper. How many people get anxious about having anxiety? How many people get fearful about having fear? How many get sad and depressed because they're depressed? This is it. So take it. When you reach those points of anxiety, stress, whatever it is, hear it and see it as the message and the sign that it is that your outside focus has taken over and you've lost touch with your inside focus. that inner, and state strongly, I no longer define myself by fear and doubt. I am love, light, and a magnificent soul. Ernest Holmes, and I've said it too, is that life is not just something to endure, it is to be lived in the joy and the fullness without limit. The way you do this, though, is to keep showing up for yourself. Choosing yourself again and again and again. Because when you choose yourself, you're choosing the purest love there is. You're choosing your soul. I always like to kind of try to leave you with a few things to use in the real world. Okay, so we've had these thoughts our whole life, but this newest generation has now labeled them intrusive thoughts. Everybody know what that is? Okay. So, what I want you to do is have a consciousness. You have a heart and a lungs that automatically do things. You don't have to think about it. But if we all got up and did 20 jumping jacks, we'd be sucking in air and our heart would be racing, right? So even though they're automatic, you have the ability to alter and affect them, right? It's the same thing with your brain. I want you to think of your brain as a tool, not as the thing that you are and not as the thing that controls you. So intrusive thought. I'm walking down the steps the other day to go clean the cat boxes, and this thought flies through my head, oh my God, I could fall and break something. What?
Yeah. Been there.
Okay, that was intrusive, but this is what I did. I'm like, okay, name that part of you, because it's not you. And when you name it, you're separating yourself. We're going to use Becky today, because there's no Beckys in the room, is there? Okay, Becky, I understand what happened here. This thought flew in from nowhere. This is not me. I understand as a single mom, 24/7, 365, working 2 jobs, doing all kinds of stuff, it can get a little overwhelming. But the break that you want is not a bone. You got to give yourself a break, and I'm going to give myself a break. Thank you, Becky, for this thought. Now move on. I recognized it. I named it, and then I redirected it. Self-talk. And the way that, because your whole body's listening to everything you say. Anybody heard of tapping? Anybody not heard? Yeah, okay, everybody knows of tapping. Okay, I'm going to do a real quick thing here. You don't have to speak it, you can speak it, but it's basically an energetic meridian kind of a thing, that there's stuff flowing through our bodies. There's tons of information out there. But if you haven't heard it, or that you haven't been doing it, I want to remind you of it. You can do it, follow it along with me. Either hand, doesn't matter. It's all good. The life right now, the world right now is a little overwhelming. And sometimes it robs me of my peace. Above your eyebrows. The world is kind of overwhelming, and sometimes I do give away that power to my peace. Side of your eyes, lightly. You know, things are tough, but I'm not going to let it rob me of my peace. Below your eyes, I want my life to be filled with peace. Underneath your nose, my life is going to be filled with peace. Right in between your chin, that little divot, I'm going to let go of all that's overwhelming, and I'm going to live in a place of peace. Your collarbone, find the peace, come down about 1 inch and out another inch. You can either do it with 1 hand or 2, it's all good. Tapping. But I am filled with peace. Everything I encounter is going to bring me peace. I'm going to look for the peace in everything I encounter. Underneath your arm again, either side, just tap your arm. I am filled with peace, and my life is filled with peace. Top of the head, I am peaceful. All that I encounter and all the energy that I give away, I am at peace. That's an example of tapping. That will calm you. I mean, anybody feel that? Just a little bit of a release of tension and stuff like that. Another thing you can do, and again, there's so much stuff out there. That was a thumbnail. I'm going to beat the drum of meditation. Always will. Doesn't make any difference whether it is making your mindful cup of tea, whether it's sitting in lotus making the om, or you're just sitting in your rocking chair, whatever it is, listening to something that's already pre-recorded, please develop a meditative practice. This is going to help you connect that spiritual and human experience. So I want you to imagine the ocean is the divine. You are a drop of the ocean that gets to come up and out and live the human experience until it's time for you to go back down into the ocean. You are divinity. You are the divine. It is time for you to embrace that. Namaste.